a big welcome for everybody who joined in here from the various meetups. If you do want to check out other things that we do, go to the link and just click there, and it'll take you to the various link pages. We run sessions at least once a month. Next month we have 3 cloud security sessions scheduled. Each one is 2 hours. So please do join us. With me today, I have Andrew Abradov. He is in 1010 Partners. He'll do a much better introduction of himself, what he does, and he'll talk to us about cybersecurity hiring, getting to jobs. What do you need to do? What's there in the market? And how can, actually getting in touch with a recruiter can help you. So Andrew, over to you.
Thank you very much for that, Ilya, and apologies for the delay, guys. Had a bit of a technical issue. I'm still getting used to all these little presentation sort of things, but we got there in the end. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just helping either early entrant security professionals, either experienced early entrants or various types of security professionals either enter or navigate the industry. I'm hoping to kind of present you guys ways to or equip you guys in aspiring cybersecurity professionals and navigate the industry, helping current cybersecurity professionals, update them on industry hot topics, trends, and opportunities. Any career switches, like you're kind of in the middle of your career, kind of interested in going in, I'll give you some tips to enter. And I'm going to just give you guys a little bit of guidance around, job search strategies, actionable steps that you can sort of get in front of employees and progress in your career. I'm going to be talking to you from the view of as a recruitment consultant. So I'm not a technical expert. So while I've been working the cybersecurity market for 7 years, I'm not a practitioner, but I've definitely spent a lot of time recruiting in the industry. And a lot of the knowledge I derived is from talking to industry, talking to hiring managers, human resources professionals, and people in the industry. So hope to present you guys some useful information there. In terms of what I do and my clients, so they're split into anyone with essentially that needs security professionals. Predominantly, that's usually financial services and insurance companies, large commercial enterprises that need security programs. I also support a lot of information security consultancies and information security product and service firms. And I kind of help my clients align their requirements and essentially allow organizations to build their security posture through people. Some of the positions I typically fill these days are usually security leadership positions. So they could be chief information security officer roles, heads of security engineering, heads of security architecture, heads of cyber defense, technical specialist roles. So that could be an incident responder. It could be an identity access management specialist, a security governance professional. And then the other part is focusing on client-facing roles. So that could be like a security consultant. It could be a pre-sales engineer that has security, that works in the security product landscape. And it also could be a security business development professional. Now, how that helps you. So look, I worked various types of security roles at various career levels, although these days they're definitely more on the senior side. I viewed various career trajectories, and I my role is essentially when on the ground is I help clients kind of strategize in filling the position, so I guide them on what's possible, and then I also help cybersecurity professionals kind of, I give guidance around what's achievable given their career background. Now, in terms of the cybersecurity opportunity on the sector as a whole, cybersecurity budgets are increasing. Sometimes I even read somewhere even in a larger proportion than technology budgets as a whole. It's important for various reasons you can imagine. Safeguarding business assets, reputation, compliance. Always increased regulations. We use different digital services and that are critical nowadays. So it just obviously builds public trust and safety. And in general, digital transformation, every single industry is undergoing it. So that creates more data and more cybersecurity implications. When I first started working in this sector, which was about 7 years ago, most of the work was in the financial services of the public sector, but that's widened in recent years, and there's more industries that are coming on. But the most notable ones I've seen are healthcare industries, critical infrastructure providers, manufacturers, and smart nation and e-government services. And that's a result of more and more things being connected as a whole. So and that increases the security work for us. So it's a great industry. There's been technological and shifts into way things are done. Like there's been technology is constantly evolving. So in the industry, I've seen convergence of data analytics and cyber defense. So the use of data science and the use of analytics to work out new ways to investigate different cyber breaches. AI technology has allowed new threat tactics and new defense tactics, and all those things have also allowed given new reporting ways as well and new regulatory requirements. Also, blockchain and web security as new ways. Obviously new topics around how to protect the data, because different types of data has been passed around within supply chains. That causes security implications as well. So I've seen that as a concern, and also things like the expansion of cloud security, IoT security, operational technology, and SCADA. That's continuing more and more, and then so you see more different types of organizations either undergoing cloud transformations and new types of SCADA and operational technology systems being used. In not too distant future, there'll be the quantum computing ramifications. So encryption technologies that are currently being used are going to become obsolete. So there's going to be a lot of security work in navigating around that. And what that does, it requires security professionals to adapt. All these things have like a technology and a process consideration that needs to be addressed. It introduces new organizational challenges. So new teams get created, new processes get built. Then because of the new problems that need to be solved, that causes new security products and services to form, and that creates new types of sales opportunities, account management, marketing, pre-sales, engineering, and customer success roles. As a wider whole, it also creates diverse forms of security consulting work. So now, I want to give you guys salary benchmarks, but I want to also recognize there's a very diverse amount of audiences here. There's probably early career people, there's some experienced professionals, people in the end user, and also in the client-facing, the vendors consulting market. So I tried to give you a little bit of a snapshot in terms of salaries. Like for example, the early career security analyst earns could earn a little anywhere between 5 to 7 a month. Like an entry level ethical hacker, 6.5 to 8,000 a month is quite common. I see sales and pre-sales engineering roles six to 8,000 a month, but they also get very good commissions on top of that. In the end user market, some of the roles, security governance positions can earn between 10 to 18,000 a month. Incident responders, like a tier 3, depending on the experience, 11 to 19,000. I see security architect roles between 12 to 20. On the client-facing side, security consultants at different levels can earn between 8 to 15,000 a month before they go into a leadership position. Same goes the business development professionals with 150 to 250,000 OTE, and the OTE stands for on target earnings. So that's basically like if they meet their targets. I mean that's how much they'll earn. Pre-sales can be anywhere between 120 to 220 that I've seen. And then, leadership positions. So like a real CISO in a mature organization can command anywhere between 20 and 30,000 a month. Technical guys, that could be, your cyber defense or heads off, anywhere between 16 to 24,000. Sales and pre-sales roles can 120 to 220 OTE, but sometimes can go as high, and sales positions can go up to the 300 to 400,000 a year. I will actually, if at the end of this presentation, I'll give you my contact details. I do actually have a more comprehensive salary guide that sort of goes into the security domains and dives a little bit deeper into your current situation. So this is just a very general. But what I can tell you about salaries, there's different factors that influence them. Salary guides are just a guide. Your salary in practice will depend on various factors. Usually, it can depend on the maturity of the organization's information and security teams. So that refers to for example, like a bank will have a wider security program, so they'll have a more layers of teams. So the leadership roles at the top can have a much higher career development runway as opposed to a smaller, medium-sized organization with a security practitioner. Same goes for there's a big difference between the IBMs, Accentures, and all those mature technology service companies versus a startup kind of security vendor or consultancy. Your salaries that you can command in those organizations and your career development runway can differ. Other things that come into is basically your negotiation leverage. So what I refer to that is when you're coming into an organization, what skill sets can you contribute to sort of hit the ground running, and what skill sets do you gain from the organization when they hire you, and also the competing candidate pool. Sometimes you can be lucky, there's some urgency of the role, so they basically do need to hire you, so that can give you a little bit more leverage as well. Another thing that comes into it, and this is quite important, how long you stay at organizations, and how often you move around. There is a strategy to it as well. On one hand, when you stay in an organization, your salary won't go up as high as when you change into another organization, for example, and that's because you're kind of paying for the risk of moving organizations, right? But also you can't move around too often, otherwise you could be you could risk being seen as a job hopper, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So when choosing your career, when you're choosing roles, I mean, salary is definitely important, but try to focus on roles that will give you a vehicle to build skills that will be in demand by other organizations. But having said this, I will say that probably the highest salaries I see in security are in financial services sector and technology sectors, especially the big tech. There's some crazy salaries out there. I do see some great sort of once once the total compensations comes into play, I see some really great salaries in security, sales, leadership positions. So in terms of like strategies for entering this interesting field, like I've kind of picked a couple of really interesting avenues. Of course, like the most obvious ones is you can go and get a cybersecurity degree or a computer science degree and just get straight into it. Of course, you either get a job at a consultancy or get a graduate position with a bank. That's definitely one obvious way. But these positions technically, like it's very possible to get into these with just self-study in a lot of ways, and obviously getting someone to give you a shot. So security operations analyst is like your, what they do is they essentially monitor systems and escalate anything that goes wrong. In a nutshell, they are employed by various financial services. Actually, it's a regulation that financial services have to have them on the ground. But also, there's quite a number of managed security services providers that need them and are willing to train them. So you can enter those types of professions through like internships and things like that. And there's a lot of self-study certifications available, like such as CISA, CIH. GCIH is probably a little bit more of the advanced ones, but definitely theoretically possible to get that certification through self-study. And once you enter that field, you can technically like move up into like those guys go into tiers. Like, so they have different escalation points. So you can become like an incident responder that actually investigates these breaches. You can become like a forensic specialist, a threat hunter as well. Now, the other one is the other interesting one is the ethical hacking industry. Now, this one's a little bit harder. Well, it's a little bit of a longer road to get into it. It requires a rigorous amount of self-study, but it is theoretically possible to get into this profession without any formal certifications. It requires a GPEN OSCP certifications. Once you get your OSCP, it's a very rigorous training program, and that's quite practical. And technically, you need to come with a certain set of skills to pass it. But once you have it, you are theoretically a licensed ethical hacker, and you can actually go and practice in the industry. And there should be security consultancies at the very least who will be willing to hire you. Some interesting career trajectories. You can sort of become even more technical and go down the security research route, or even I've seen security architects with a background in the space, and even like strategy as well. Just gives that really, really good technical foundation, and very, very possible to enter without formal certifications. Just a little bit more about certifications. I've just given you guys a few entry-level ones that you can consider. Some of them are actually, while they are not, I wouldn't call them entry-level per se. Some of them they're just possible to obtain with self-study, and you can pretty much build your knowledge leading up to these certifications. And by having those, they're very sort of industry recognized, and it will definitely allow you, provide you with some entry-level opportunities as well. What I want to say about certifications, certifications are a good way to kind of illustrate your interests. So they don't actually substitute practical experience. Like I use certification when I'm doing my searches, for example. I do use certifications as maybe just as a starting point when I'm searching for people that I might be interested in the role that I'm recruiting for. But they're definitely not the be all end all of where you need to be. Wikipedia, I can send you guys a link for this, so it's quite easy to just come up. It actually provides a very nice list of I'd say it's got 90% of the industry certifications out there. So depending on what your interest is, you can take a look at some of the training leading up to it. Some of them require work experience and different things, but you can kind of take a look and see depending on what your interest levels, where you want to go. In terms of the self-learning, there's a lot of like self-learning and self-study resources out there. Free ones that Ilya actually brought to my attention, the library. But also, there's different types of online training systems like, Cybery, Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn. Hack in the Box gives you some practical challenges as well. Vendor certifications are very good if you want to get into, learn about specific products, maybe learn how to implement these products and get into a security engineering type of professions. There's different ways that you can learn, and whether you're experienced or aspiring cybersecurity professional, there's got to be a continuous learning journey. Now, those that are maybe like in the middle of their career, they want to kind of enter the industry. Some pivot ideas I've seen throughout my recruitment career. Look, sales and account management for security and products and services is it is possible to get into this role, especially if you are. I mean, tech salespeople are going to be probably the best placed over here, especially if your target audience is the same as the cybersecurity sales market. Like you're basically selling to the same decision makers. But if there is a chance that you can also you might be working with security decision makers even outside of tech sales. Like you just need to see and understand whether you're if you are a salesperson at the moment, whether you are interfacing with the same decision makers that decide on the purchase and acquisition of security products. Another interesting one, because like cybersecurity insurance, about quite a new industry. It's popped up about I'd say 6 to 8 years ago. I've seen a lot of insurance brokers that's even general insurance funds go into selling cybersecurity insurance. I've seen underwriting teams that handle underwrite cybersecurity policies as well. So that's another avenue that's available for insurance professionals that I've seen. Cybersecurity auditors and GRC consultants. So I mean, I would probably argue financial services and IT audit type consultants are the best placed here. So say you're a financial services auditor, I mean, you might need to start learning about the frameworks, regulations, and slowly get yourself the legal aspects of the role and slowly get yourself into this profession. With operational technology, so that's like your so basically, in factory security, in critical infrastructure, some of the security teams there are actually willing to train just people that actually understand these systems. So if you know and have a background in any types of systems that they operate, I have seen some willingness of my clients to train these guys from scratch. So it's another way to get into the profession. There are many others. I've seen some really interesting. I've even seen some recruitment consultants that focus on cybersecurity get into some cybersecurity sales, and throughout my career, I've seen project managers delve into the industry. So it's very. You just got to be creative and understand and identify your transferable skill sets, and it will be possible to sort of enter the industry that way. In terms of essentials, networking and self-study are going to be very critical in successfully transitioning to cybersecurity, regardless of the way you come in. For experienced professionals, so just for those that are looking for their next move or want to make themselves a little bit more employable in the market, I would probably look at all the emerging trends, some of which I've listed before, and just understand and get involved in their in the security implications of those emerging technologies. Seek out knowledge through self-study and experience. So start to have, try to have like all these little, some display some exposure to blockchain, AI, and try to prioritize real experience, and just demonstrate some knowledge in this space, and with the aim of helping organizations navigate around those challenges. With emerging technologies, there's some great opportunities right now to take advantage. Like a lot of our clients, for example, like you'd think like a blockchain, like say like a blockchain company, say like a crypto security company, for example. I had situations where they actually don't need the blockchain experience, but it's a nice to have. Naturally, so if you got some experience to expose yourself to emerging technologies, I would highly recommend it. And the key part is try to identify roles and companies that require your set of advantages and your set of strengths that are best placed to leverage your experience. Try to basically to maximize your employability, try to identify roles where you can genuinely hit the ground running. Now, just some job search strategies. Okay, well, I mean, obviously the most popular one, go and apply at on a job portal, on LinkedIn, or on eFinancial Careers. And of course that's a very viable strategy, and it's definitely worthwhile continue it. The key part is those applications do often land in front of like a HR manager who's usually screening these applications. So just to ensure that you really highlight like very easy to read skill sets that will be tailored specifically for the role that you're applying for. With CVs, I do see sometimes very long CVs, 7 to 10 pages sometimes, listing every single certification under the sun. So try to sort of reduce it, reduce your profile to about 3 to 4 pages. Probably not less than 2 if you're an experienced professional, and just highlight just the main bits that make you suitable for the role. If you have, everyone will have some kind of situation where you stayed at an organization less than 6 months, less than 2 years, like, you something didn't work out. So just, like, employers will wonder about that. So try to address, the short tenure position, explain in the context. This is probably less critical for if you're applying for a contract position, but still worth a consideration. Also avoid try to add some substance into your reasons for leaving as well. Like things like, I needed a job, or this organization offered me a step up, or like that's sometimes not the best way to move. Just sort of highlight like what actually interested you about the role, and what was it about your current organization that made that wasn't able to give you the vehicle that you need to cater for your interests. Now, aside from applying for a job via job portal, the other ways to basically get people like to hire people that they know or trust, things like that. So networking and personal branding is key. And that can be like, if you know somebody at an organization, you essentially, you can ask them about a role that you know of and try to get introduced in. That way, that can be done either through your industry contacts, your former colleagues, brothers and sisters. So it's important to go out there and meet industry professionals and professional employees. You should leverage, social media and of various forms, whether that will be LinkedIn or GitHub, to kind of at least, get your name out there. Maybe write some articles if you can do that, or participate in industry forums, conferences, workshops. Do a little bit of talking and get your name out there. But also, I would recommend not overdoing it too much. So less is more, and what that means is completely up to yourself. Just a little bit about leveraging recruitment agencies for your job search. We of course we can help, and we do help in career moves. So like I do recommend forging relationships with established specialist recruiters. So like what that means is like, you know, that it's ideal for recruiters that you forge relationships with to have some knowledge of your space, to maybe just spend someone that spent a little bit of time in it, and you know, has some kind of network to land you in front of the right jobs. Also, focused recruiters on your industry should you need to expect them to kind of have some understanding of your job market and potential employees. We should be able to give you, you know, a really honest assessment around whether you're suitable for the role, and if you're not, why not? But again, it's a complement and not a substitute to traditional job efforts. We are usually better placed in identifying opportunities that leverage your experience really well. So we can, like, if you're interested in continuing going down the road that you're going and building up your career, where recruiters are great for identifying those next step kind of opportunities. All right, so that's just also in terms of the job search, it is a bit of a grind. Like, you know, like you got to just sort of you know, work your way, get in front of the right people, like and things will happen. Just a little bit of a story about myself. Like, you know, I got to Singapore initially with, you know, I came from like a sales kind of background in banking, and I moved into recruitment when I moved to Singapore. I kind of also wanted to live in Singapore. I saw potential in this place. Like the way I approached it, like, I mean, I realized I wanted to get into recruitment. So the way I was doing it was just, you know, calling people that might be hiring and just speaking to them, introducing myself, and going out there meeting people. So it was a bit of a process, but I ended up getting there, and I'm sure those who are doing, you know, searching for the next role, I'm sure you'll get there. Very much appreciated for all those who got to the end of this to this presentation. I've given you guys some of my contact details, QR code to add me on LinkedIn. Please feel free to email me if you need like salary guidance or any type of career advice. I also will be you know, I'm part of a security conference, so like I might be running a little like workshops in terms of helping people with strategizing their job search, and I'll probably use this time to welcome some questions as well for those who need it.
Thank you very much. And Drew, can we flash also the last page? There's the survey link for the
Oh, okay.
for the session itself.
Let me go back then. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. So, well, also, please take some time to fill up the survey. The survey also includes, if you want 1010 partners to reach out to you. So that's the last question. Click on yes, and you'll be requested to fill up the information. These notes are very important for us before we move to the questions. So don't drop off yet. We still have questions to answer. These survey questions are important to know. What session are we going to bring? What are we going to do? One session that I have in mind is Zero Trust Networking, which will get one of the founders from OpenZity to come and present for us when the time works. Moving also, sorry, before that, I am pasting in the chat a link that is Third Thursday of the Month Club. Where we meet up on third Thursdays of every month. We socialize over cybersecurity. We meet there. We have lots and lots of fun. It's free to join. And you'll get to meet up lots of great people. Come say hi to myself, Andrew. You'll meet up Melissa as well, who's on the call with us. So make sure to attend there. Now, having said that, we did have some great questions, which Most of them were answered. One I am going to leave to you because I don't know how to answer it or what does it actually mean. So the question is, so sorry, before that, one of the questions was about self-hosting and home labs, and does that help with hiring? So Andrew, did you have candidates go to an employer and they're running computers? You don't see mine, right? But I have like 6, 7 computers running here with different services, Linux environments and everything.
Yeah.
So did you have like employers say, what the hell are you running back there? And they explain it and they get hired? Because I know some people actually did get hired like that. Did you have any experiences with that?
I do have, like, when I talk to hiring managers, like they want to see evidence that of like interest or actionable steps that you've taken to sort of get in the industry. And like if you can communicate that you play around with different labs and systems, I mean that does, of course, a lot of these managers, they're technical guys and they would have started on the same path, so that will create some inspiration opportunities. To add to that, I would say that these OSCP certifications, there's a lot of certifications out there. I mean, you're gonna have a lot better tools out there to pass those certifications if you do have a home lab that you play around with. So yeah, I mean, definitely having a little lab, and I do understand they're quite cheap and quite affordable to set up. There's a lot of free tools out there that you can get online. So it is a good way to start playing around and just seeing whether you like the actual problems that come with the profession.
Yeah, if you do want to know more about self-hosting, setting up those labs, we have the other meetup group for that called Self-Hosted, so you can check that out. The great plugin, by the way. Thank you very much. The other question, which I have no idea what it means or how to answer it. So Ole is asking for foreigners. Are there any proven ways to improve your compass rating apart from the obvious, like university being on the list and the company having diversity, etc.?
Very, very good question. Okay, so the Compass framework is a very public document. Everybody has access to it, and it's the security government, as far as I understand, is very clear around different elements of the Compass framework. So, within that framework, if there are some practical ways that you can that you can widen your standability in the market, then the Compass framework will be the best guide for that, I would say. I'm probably not okay. One thing with recruitment consultants, we don't get involved in the actual day-to-day kind of employment pass applications and things like that. So we kind of from our end we ask the client whether they are able to hire foreigners and whether they can hire foreigners with certain attributes, and then we go from that. But my experience, I mean, I would say the most practical way, and probably one way that might not be attainable, some education in Singapore can sometimes help. I've seen, like, if you do like some university course or diploma in Singapore, that could potentially improve your standing. But other than that, just developing those in-demand kind of skill sets. I do believe that the Compass framework, as far as I understand, there is some room in there for those in-demand kind of professions. So if you look at those and try to develop those, then that can increase your standing in the Compass framework.
All right, so I hope that did answer the question. Another question that we have is, will just the certification on cybersecurity will be enough to get a role in it?
Hmm. Okay, so the certifications will essentially, get your foot in the door. They'll kind of help. They'll display actionable steps that you've taken to get yourself into a role, but it will be a combined. I mean, if it's your first role in cybersecurity, I mean, somebody of course will have to give you a shot and give you that set of experience. So certifications alone will not land you the job, but if you can find ways to get experience aside from certifications, and one way, as Ilya pointed out, doing hack in the box, various exercises, or even internships to get some experience, that will probably get your foot in the door a lot faster, combined with certifications. So you got to kind of use all avenues. You got to use like networking, certifications, education, practice, all those kind of things will combined.
Right. Thank you, Andrew. I just wanted to also show the feedback form once again for the session itself and future things that you want to do, and also pasting your details at the end if you want Tintin partners to connect with you. I'm not going to keep that information. So if you don't fill it up till, I don't know, in a week, I'm just going to delete the form, and you won't be able to do that. You'll have to find Andrew by yourself. One last question, if you have time, was, and I answered it. I want to see your opinion. So somebody asked, from a data analytic background, where would it be best to start with? From my understanding, moving to security, would it be with the CISSP certification?
If you've got data analytics and no experience, I mean, from what I've seen, the biggest conversions that I've seen in the industry at the moment is in the cyber defense side of things. So just basically just the work that's involved with use cases and just analyzing all the breaches, all the data that comes from breaches. So that's actually a good way to start. So it's like cyber defense can sometimes be a really good way to leverage your data and analytics skills. Another thing is obviously there's a lot of reporting and things like presentations that need to be done, a lot of regulatory requirements, a lot of regulatory data collection. So that's another avenue. For CISSP, things like that, I do understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ilya, CISSP requires 5 years of direct security experience. So if you just got pure data analytics experience, I would say that CISSP would probably not be the best way to start. But you can maybe get some other certifications that I've listed. What do you think, Ilya? Okay, got it. Okay.
All right.
No worries.
Thank you very much, Andrew, and thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I hope you learned, you had fun, and I hope to see you again in March for cloud security sessions, and check out also the self-hosting group. We need more members there. So thank you very much, and I hope everybody has a great weekend out there. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for facilitating this, Ilya.